This is a reenactment of a speech I gave at the LVH ALS Foundation's annual golf tournament and pig roast on September 9th, 2016. As many of you know, I started the Duke ALS Clinic 16 years ago. Since then, I've seen more than 2,000 different people affected by ALS. It's always brutally difficult. I can certainly understand families who've lost a loved one to this disease, then wanting to get as far away from it as they can. But of course, that wasn't you. You all lost an amazing man, Larry Vance Hughes. Instead of running for cover, you dug your heels in even deeper and fought the disease even harder, creating the LVH ALS Foundation, working to fund research so that someday other families might not have to experience this same terrible loss. I want to assure you today that your efforts are making a difference. In the past 2 years, you have helped me make ALS research a top priority for the first time ever at Duke University. You have helped me start a totally novel research program focused on patients who unexpectedly beat ALS, folks that I call ALS reversals. I never knew these people even existed, but with your help, I've now found 24 of these ALS reversals. I'm carefully studying them to see if I can understand how they beat the disease and how I can make this happen more often. Right now, I think there are two main possibilities. First, these folks might be genetically resistant to the disease. There is a precedent for this. In HIV, there's a small group of people called elite controllers who get infected with this virus but never get sick. When someone finally studied this group, they found that most of them have the same abnormal gene called CCR5 delta 32. This codes for a protein on the surface of all our cells that HIV needs to get in. The protein looks slightly different in these elite controllers, so the virus cannot get into their cells. Pfizer used this discovery to build a drug that blocks that pathway, and it works for everyone with HIV. So I am now working on comparing the genome of the ALS reversals to folks with more typically progressive ALS in hopes that I can find something similar. A second possibility is that maybe some of the things that the ALS reversals were taking actually worked. A lot of them were using cocktails of various supplements and alternative therapies. I've now got a pilot trial of one such regimen called Lunacin underway. This was the fastest enrolling trial in the history of ALS. We enrolled 50 people in just 4 months. It's a little too early to tell for sure what's happening yet, but I am excited to tell you that one of the first people I enrolled in this trial has now regained the ability to turn himself over in bed. This might not seem like much, but in my experience, improvements like this are very unusual in the natural history of ALS. I'm cautiously optimistic that we might indeed be onto something here. I'm not the only one who's excited about our ALS reversals program. It was recently featured in the Wall Street Journal, and later this year, it's going to be highlighted by Dr. Sanjay Gupta on CNN. I think Margaret Mead said it best. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can work together to make a difference. In fact, that's the only thing that ever does. I want to thank you, LVH ALS Foundation, for being that small group. Your efforts are helping to make a difference.